including YouTube and Facebook and all of the above. So
Yep.
let's, you want to get right into it or what?
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to start recording in 3, 2, 1.
Leaders and healers, ladies and gentlemen, gamers and claimers from around the globe, from around the universe. Welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Cheam, speaker, life coach, trainer, love bug, and beautiful human being to the world, spreading my beauty, spreading my genius, spreading my love to you, sharing it with you so you can ultimately show up as the best version, better version of yourself, and you can inspire others to be the best version of themselves. This is a podcast where we help you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest, widest, and highest passions possible. So let's face it, to experience life at its greatest depths, joy, love, fulfillment, abundance, the whole gamut. We're here to help you and serve you. We're helping you with strategies, insights, wisdom, aphorisms, idioms, everything, all the gifts that we have to give to you. And we are joined by my friend, my colleague, my partner in power, Cameron Dubé. What's up from Chatham? How you doing, man?
I'm doing so good because the moment I got on call, you were like, I love you, Cam. And I was like, I love you, Anthony. And no, I love that. I'm doing really, really well. Things are, I don't know. Words cannot describe, you know? The moment you put words to it, it sort of like kind of becomes something else.
Yes, yeah.
I'm doing really, really well. Very grateful for everything. So grateful for this podcast and the people listening in on like Spotify and iTunes, Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Like, people are really enjoying the show, and I love seeing that. So I'm excited for this topic, the love yourself topic, because it's something that I recently experienced quite profoundly. I could talk about that later if you'd like. And it was I think it was a real, I know it was a true experience of self-love for once in my life. That was powerful. So I'm really excited for this topic, and right back at you.
Yeah. Well, listen, self-love is one of those things that I think most human beings have a tough time doing, because you might have hurt somebody so badly that you feel resentment toward yourself, that you are undeserving of love. But let me tell you something, that one of the first steps, if not the first step to transformation, is to love yourself. And I'm not saying just from a superficial level, like hug yourself and give your kiss yourself in the mirror someday, but I'm talking about using your words to love yourself, using your gifts to open up and sharpen yourself, both your mind, your body, and your soul and your spirit, so you could be a channel through which all of love can flow through. And if there's hate and fear, if you're operating from hate and fear for yourself, how on earth can you share that which you do not have? If you have $5 in your pocket and you owe someone $20, guess what? You cannot pay them $20 if you only have $5 in your pocket. If you are completely spent with your own health and love bank account, let me tell you something. You can't share that abundance with other people. So one of the things that I think this topic hopefully will connect with you at a strong level, is that loving yourself is the first thing that I do in the morning. I literally, my alarm clock goes off, or my opportunity clock, as Zig Ziglar calls it. I literally goes off. I smile and say, thank you. That's immediate. Start with gratitude. And I'll just, like, as I'm brushing my teeth, as I'm washing my face, as I'm whatever doing it, and I'm looking at myself with a big smile on my face and saying, I love you. I love you, man. And I'm just like, it's silly as it sounds, just providing that love. Talking to myself, talk is more important. In fact, I tell this to people in my coaching, what's more important, what I say to you or what you say to yourself? What you say to yourself holds greater influence over your behavior than what I say to you, because you take you everywhere you go. Wherever you go, there so you are. So self-talk is so important. I remember hearing even one guy say, was asked, why do you self-talk so much? He says, well, I like to talk to intelligent people, and I like to listen to intelligent people talk. So I thought that was brilliant. Self-talk is very important. So start with the words you use on yourself, and to ignite and be a channel through which love can flow through you, can be inculcated through you, can percolate through you, can be inspired through you. And I start, that's just the tip of the iceberg on how I start. And I start my morning with these ritual of, prayer and meditation. So the meditation, to me, we talked about this in yesterday's podcast about the power of meditation. And meditation, to me, honestly, here's the greatest definition of meditation I got from this guy, a spiritual mystic master. His name is James Finley. If you haven't heard of him, he's an amazing, amazing spiritual teacher. Unbelievable. And anyway, he talked about how spiritual meditation or meditation, deep prayer and affirmation is a daily rendezvous with the divine where the only agenda is love. I thought, wow, that is an amazing definition of meditation, where you're doing a daily rendezvous, whatever time it be, morning, night, whatever it might be, where you are in connection with the divine, and the only agenda is love. That's great. And so meditation to me is, so you provide the least resistance for that love and divinity to flow through you, so then you can be a channel through which love can be exuded through your delivery system of work, whatever role you're playing as a father, as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, son, daughter, brother, sister, as a entrepreneur, as a teacher, as a doctor, as a dentist, whatever you are. So you can provide the greatest level of love with the least amount of resistance. And resistance could be fear or self-hate. And the more you experience that daily rendezvous with the divine, the more it tears down the walls of hate, self-hatred, and fear in your life. And more love will enter into your being. And that doesn't mean you're not going to feel afraid or you're not going to get angry. But it just means love is now going to show you the places where you need to work on the most. I've discovered that the more love I am experiencing, the more suffering, I'm more sensitive to other people's suffering, the more compassionate I am to other people. So there's I remember hearing even, I think Tony Robbins saying one time, that exercise is the greatest form of self-love. And that I love exercising because it deeply affects my physiology. It broadens my perspective. It enhances my focus. It impacts my emotional ability to take on challenges. It also it impacts my ability to be a better father, a better husband, a better entrepreneur. And it affects me, just my energy levels, my vitality through on my daily basis. So by loving me, I'm able to share more love to others. So the more you love yourself, the more love you can give to others. And let me tell you something, the greatest wisdom of all is love. So if you can't put yourself in a position, or you're not putting yourself in a position where you're loving yourself on a daily basis, a daily rendezvous with the divine, where you are, the only agenda is love and releasing whatever, in total observation, a total stillness, then guess what? You're not going to be at the best. I don't care what it is you're doing. So self-love is very important. So here's the first strategy I would suggest for this podcast. Determine 3 activities that you can do on a daily basis that will inculcate self-love wisdom 101. So self-love wisdom 101 is pick 3 activities where you're engaging in activity. It could be meditation, the non-action of meditation, of just sitting in daily awareness of being, focusing on your breathing, whatever type of meditation you're doing. It could be spending time, total present moment time with your children for 5 minutes. Or learning a new instrument and saying, wow, this instrument, I'm so grateful to allow myself to play this guitar or violin or piano or drums, whatever it might be. Even though I may not be good at it, I'm so grateful that my hands are able to do this. And just that daily rendezvous with yourself, with the divine, so you can be a greater instrument of love to flow through. Any thoughts there, Cam?
I couldn't agree more. Like, I'm noticing more and more that people don't see themselves, they see themselves in the eyes of other people, if that makes sense. So if other people love them, then they're like, yeah, I am awesome. And if people make fun or tease or pick on a certain part of themselves, they will also do the same, and they're sort of mirroring other people. Something that changed me was definitely meditation and actually sitting with myself. I don't think like I never did that enough. I never stopped to look inside, or even just to like feel what I need to feel in that moment. And it like self-love really is, it doesn't come as easily because nobody taught you how to love yourself. For me, I had to sit with my emotion and notice that I guess like the higher part of me was paying attention to this part of me who is like suffering, and just showered it with love, if that makes any sense. Like the way I see it is like 2 people who have lived in the same room for 40 years or 20 years in my case. And they, they've been living amongst each other, but they've they've shared words back and forth, whatever, but there's always been this like tension, like they both need to get something off their chests and communicate for once, but they never do. And I feel like I sat there and broke down those barriers and communicated with that part of myself that I've been living with for so long. And it was like a union from like my higher self and my human self became one, and I became an instrument of love. Like after I finally once and for all decided to actually accept and appreciate and love myself fully, I could not judge people even if I tried. It was impossible.
Yeah.
So no, I wish I knew this, do these 4 things and you'll feel the same. I don't know what it is, but that's for me, a lot of it boils down to not distracting myself and actually facing all of these things and sitting with myself. Remember one of the quotes, I heard a quote and it was like, all man's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a room alone quietly. Just sit with yourself. You can't do that. Nobody can do that. And believe me, it's terrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. It's not fun. But boy, does it ever pay off. And you don't think it will pay off when you're there, when you're like, it's like the other example I have for it is when you burn your hand, you instantly put it under cold water. Imagine that the way to heal the burn once and for all would be to take it out of the cold water and sit with it for 2 hours. You know what I mean? And it just stings and you can't cover it up. You can't put ice on it. But that in itself is what will get rid of it once and for all. That's what it feels like. That's just my personal experience.
Of course. And I think one of this goes back to this idea that self-esteem is the biggest thing, or having confidence is the biggest thing. I think a bigger and more powerful goal for human beings, rather than just having a high degree of self-esteem, is to have self-love and self-compassion. Cultivate those qualities, and the self-esteem issues will go away automatically as a result of it. I'm living proof of that. As I started to love myself, honor my uniqueness, honor my unique genius, my gifts, my talents, and appreciate myself and the creator that created this version of whatever who I am. Anthony Cheam is my name, my physical name, but who was I before this? If it's like Wayne Dyer talking about, if you took apple pie and I cut an apple pie, a piece of apple pie, put it on a plate, what is it? It's apple pie because it came from apple pie. Whereas, why can't we be like what we came from? We understand that with everything else but ourselves. We understand that the trees and the sun was created by something, and we're created by something other than the trees came from. We must be like what we came from. And what I believe in my deepest heart of hearts is that we came from love. Therefore, we are love. We must be connected to that. And we are that. We are instruments of that. And, one of the ways that we can appreciate ourselves more is understanding that, listen, out of all the animals and creations in the world, we can walk, we can swim, we can put 1,000 songs in our pocket. We can create songs, we can write plays. There are thousands and thousands of jobs and delivery systems for which are waiting for your command. By you showing up as the best version of yourself, loving yourself, we benefit from it. The world benefits from it. By you not loving yourself, we suffer. We suffer. And I have this underlying belief, as one of my spiritual teachers taught me, he said, as long as one human suffers and believes they're nothing other than love, we're all going to suffer. So we're in this game together to love ourselves and to share that love with others. And this is deeply entrenched in what I think the Dalai Lama said about being selfishly unselfish. Like, love yourself first, take care of yourself first. Self-care is definitely the first step. You got to take care of yourself so you can actually show up at work. You can take care of your family. You can take care of what the things that matter to you most. And the more you can do that, the more you can grow, you can develop, you can design, you can create, you can produce virtually more in ample abundance for everyone around you. So loving yourself equals more contribution. Loving yourself equals more happiness. Loving yourself equals more fulfillment. Loving yourself equals more connection. Loving yourself equals greater happiness. Your immune system will get better. I remember there was this one study that was done on meditation where they took these people through like 4 hours of meditation through 4 hours of meditative audios called binaural beats for 3 days straight, 4 hours. I think it was 3 days for 4 hours at a time. And they wanted to test 3 factors. They wanted to test I believe their melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. their cortisone levels and their DHEA levels. DHEA is like the Superman, it's the youth, it's the youth hormone in your body, that if you were to basically inject in your body, you'd feel younger. And what they found was, I don't know the exact percentages, but through meditation, their DHEA levels went up like 50%. So they felt younger and more energized. Their cortisone levels dropped by like 50%, and their melatonin levels went up by, so their sleep got better, their health got better, and they felt younger. What better benefit from anything? That's the greatest form of self-love to me. I'm not saying you got to meditate 4 hours, but maybe spending, as Cam said, spending time with yourself alone, still in a room where you're just being there. We're human beings, not human doings, as they say. We're so focused on more production, more accomplishment, more success. And I was having a conversation with clients just recently, actually today, before I got on this call, a few hours ago, about, we're so focused on accomplishing and achieving that even when we do accomplish all those goals, there's still this emptiness inside, that we're not enough, that we're not doing good enough, that we don't have enough respect, or that's our ego talking. But what if you just sat in a while, just said, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and appreciate this moment now as it is. Totally empty, totally open. And whatever shows up, I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to disassociate it. I'm not going to deny it, disown it, disassociate from it. I'm just going to live in this moment now freely. And the only thing, as I heard one guy say, the only thing that you can take with you forever is the things that you give to both yourself, self-love, and to other people. The things that you keep for yourself, that you keep and you hold in your hand, and you don't share it with other people. Those are the very things you're going to lose forever. Because all this material world, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. The only thing you can really take with you is that which you gave freely of your heart. And if you want to be a greater instrument and have a greater, a bigger expanded delivery system through which love can flow through you, then self-love is the first step. I truly believe that. And part of the reason why we made this podcast, Self-Love, is because I think that was the topic of many of my clients today that I coach, was just learning to love yourself and being open to that. And I know a lot of people out there who suffer from depression and anxiety, who hate themselves, who've made a bad mistake and have a tough time forgiving themselves, or someone that's hurt them so badly that they have a tough time forgiving them. Self-love can basically be the first step, the action of letting go of those things, so forgiveness can work its magical power and allow you to be free from that hate, self-resentment, or the resentment of the people around you. So, I mean, I remember hearing, what was it? The greatest definition of forgiveness was Mark Twain. He says, forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. And can you give love in moments like that when you've been crushed? And if you look at people like Jesus Christ, who was on the cross, and he said, forgive them for they know not what they do. When Buddha was dying, the man that poisoned him from the food didn't intentionally poison him. He said to that man, "Don't tell that man that he killed me." Could you imagine how he would feel after he killed the Buddha? He said, rather than tell him that he killed me, ask him this question: what's more important? Preparing a meal that will nourish the Buddha, or preparing the last meal that will send the Buddha to his final liberation? Wow. He didn't respond with hate. Oh my gosh, you killed me. He didn't respond with hate. I think one of the most important steps, if not the most important step, is to learn to love yourself, appreciate yourself, honor your gifts, and then share it massively with the world. And I think that's basically it. What do you think there, Cam?
So yeah, no, I agree totally. And I also just wondering, like, if you were to recap exactly what people should do, just a quick recap of what actions, I guess, people can take home with them.
Sure. I would say 3 steps. The first thing, find some time in the day, even if it's 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes of alone time by yourself. Touching or opening your heart, breathing deeply, appreciating this moment as it is. 5 minutes of gratitude. That's also a form of self-love. And then the next step is find maybe 1, 2, 3 activities that you can engage in on a daily basis, which are actions. Could be playing music or enhancing, building a computer, or composing your song, or play, or become going to the next level in your skills, or getting new certifications, whatever it might be, where you're challenging yourself, where you know that by doing this activity, you're going to be a greater vessel for which love can flow through, then great. Maybe an activity could just be you sitting down with your family and just having fun and letting go of your agenda and just letting go of it all. Not having, oh, I got to be here, I got to be there, or, oh my gosh, only got 5 minutes, I'm freaking out. Just letting go of it all. And I say step 3, share your experience with other people and say, you know what really helped me? I've only been on this journey I was watching this podcast, and hey, they talked about self-love, and hey, I've started this journey. I've only been doing it for a week or 2 weeks. Share it with other people, because happiness is only real when shared, as I think it's Mark Twain that said that. And we got to be able to cultivate self-love and then share self-love and provide our experiences with other people that transform. Because as I said, what meditation really does for me is that daily rendezvous with the divine, where the only agenda is love. Well, that love that enters your heart, enters every fiber of your being, every cell in your body, will transform you into the very thing that transformed you. What greater wisdom than to actually allow yourself to do that and let go and surrender to that love. And whether you're there or not, I hope you got a lot from this podcast. I sure did. The person that's listening to this podcast more is me, because I have a tough time loving myself too, because I have such a high standard. But you know what? Love you guys. You know, and to your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. And if you guys love this episode or love this podcast, subscribe, like, comment, share. We would love to hear from you. Ask questions and make comments. Take care. God bless. And may your adventures be blessed and loved.